Peace, love, knowledge, and freedom, and welcome to season 12 of the Just Seen motherfucking podcast. And today, as you've seen from the title, we're gonna be talking about misery. I've been first off, you know, let me say to the community, to the podcast fam, I know it's been a while. It's been a while. I've never taken a break this long, but I needed to take a break this long because uh I learned that I was low key I was low key distracted. I was doing a lot and doing nothing at the same time. Like having my hands in so many different things. At one time, while still trying to build something, it was my attention was 100% divided, and I needed to get all my attention consolidated so I can put the last pieces on everything I needed to do, business wise. You know, my old page got shut down, and like a lot of shit just happened at one time, and I just said, I started to see things like happening, that was just like, all right, bro, you're doing too much and it's time to stop. I had moved to Georgia, um, and it just like from there, it just that adjustment and a lot of things that were transpiring and going on, just it was a lot. So I slowly began pulling back, saying, okay, let me take away from this, let me take away from this, until eventually I just stopped doing everything. It was like locking and focus because I had to. And like I said, once my old page got shut down, it was like, all right, what the fuck? You feel me? So I was dealing with that. So I ended up just turning hermit mode into a hiatus into a sabbatical, and just like, all right, let me build this new page, get this shit back together, and get things on point. And once things are on point, I'll come back to the podcast. So I'm back now. Um, so yeah, that was just a quick, spiel on, what's been going on and everything like that, and why the podcast has been what it was. If you're following the new page, then you see me constantly, experimenting, trying to get new things, trying to get a right aesthetic down, experiment, trying this, doing this, because it's like I'm in a space now. I just want to do like, I just want to post, make my podcast, make my music, and go on with my life. So I'm getting into that rhythm where I'm finding that what it is. So a lot of this shit that you see on the old page is just experimentation. But we're back. We're finally back with season 12. And again, as I said, as you've seen from the title, we're gonna be talking about misery. Now, I'm not miserable at the moment and no shit like that, but I wanted to talk about misery for one. Y'all know how these episodes come. They come to me. So I was really debating like how I was gonna come back, what episode I was gonna do. I was literally trying to think of the episode to come out, and then it was just like, nah, you know how this go. When you drop episodes on Wednesday, you wake up Tuesday, and whatever thoughts you have on Tuesdays when you record. And so the thoughts that I've been, that really just woke me up this morning was about misery. And I started looking at misery, and I started looking at the next trajectory of where I'm going. And I realized now, if you're in my space, if you're in my circle, this is not necessarily about you individually, but this is something that I've observed in my transition. There's old friends and new friends and even a pair. No, bullshit. But it's like I look at some of my old interactions and I look at some of my new interactions that are happening, and there's a divide. And I couldn't figure out what that divide was until I actually got closer to some of these people. And I realized it's misery. You feel me? The people that in my trajectory of where I'm going now, there's people that are staying, there are people that are coming with me, and there are people that are coming into the space that are like, oh, you're not in that, you're not a miserable person. And I'm gonna get into what I mean with misery as we go on, but then there's people that are literally my ties are being severed for them. And I'm looking at them as like, you were a miserable person and you siphoned off my joy. Wow. And it got me thinking because I wanted to have a different conversation than what's always being had. Everybody talks about, oh, narcissism this, narcissism that, this person's a narcissist. And a lot of miserable people, I've learned, call people outside of their circle narcissists. And I'm like, how y'all clinically diagnosing everybody as narcissist? But y'all are narcissistic too. You know what I'm saying? every narcissist has to pair with another narcissist, and people don't get it. You have the good narcissist and you have the bad narcissist. But I ain't gonna get into that. But I want to talk about how there's been a lot of miserable people in my space. And I've been like, why the fuck am I not growing the way I needed to grow? You know what I'm saying? And it's like, why the fuck is shit going the way that it needs to go? Because I was like, I started to look at just all relationships and I started to do an account of them. Who in my space is miserable and who isn't? And that was a very telling reality because when I started to see who was miserable and who wasn't, I learned that there's a lot of people in my space, and not just in my space, but in the world. So this isn't going to be like, I know how these episodes go. It's me understanding the lesson through my own experience and shit, right? And y'all, I don't know why I'm explaining it to y'all because y'all know, but this is for the new people that are coming into the space because this is now transitioning into something different now that season 12 is opening up. And I've observed that we live in a world where now we're living in a world where miserable people are the ones who are responsible for cancel culture. Miserable people are the ones who are responsible for vicariously living through artists and celebrities and shit. Miserable people are quote unquote influencers that are convincing and teaching other people to be miserable. And I'm watching how all of this shit is playing out because it's like, what is the thing that is causing these people? What is the thing that is making people act the way they act and be the way they be? And low key is misery. You know what I'm saying? And we have to get into a space where we realize that misery doesn't always look miserable. In fact, misery doesn't look miserable so much so that that's how it finds its company, by not appearing miserable. You feel me? That's where you get your yes people and you get all the other bullshit that comes with a miserable person in your space. You feel what I'm saying? There's a lot of lessons that I learned from this. The Drake and Kendrick beef, all of that shit tied into a lot of this. And I'm looking at, it's a lot of miserable people in this world. And they won't accept that they're miserable. But they don't understand what it is, what absolves them of misery. So you know I'm going to be talking about the tree of life in this one. But before we dive heavy into that, be sure to follow me on Instagram at Seen the Light. The old page is dubbed. So any of the previous episodes where _ just seen _ that shit's dubbed. They cut me off. They shut me down. But anyway, follow me on Instagram at Seen the Light. Be sure to check out my, damn, I got to get in the rhythm with that. All right. I'm back. All right. Be sure to follow me on Instagram at Seen the Light. Be sure to check out my website at IamJustSeen.com to get all things that are just seen. To all those who tip, donate, and sponsor to the podcast, you are greatly appreciated. To all those who would like to tip, donate, and sponsor to the podcast, you can do so by clicking the link in the description of the podcast. Not the individual episode, but the podcast itself. Cash App and PayPal are just fine. And you know the vibes. That's that for this and that's this for that. So we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to dive into misery. When we come back, we're going to dive into misery. When we come back, we're going to dive into misery, the vacuum of joy. And don't forget to visit IamJustSeen.com. There, you can get all things Just Seen. You want to add the So For Real series to your library? Visit IamJustSeen.com. You want to learn how to master the markets for serious trading and investing? Visit IamJustSeen.com. You want to get your hands on some exclusive merch like tees, hoodies, coffee mugs, hats, bags? Visit IamJustSeen.com. Are you thinking about transitioning into the plant-based lifestyle? Visit IamJustSeen.com. You ever want to just chat with Seen about anything from simple advice to mentorship? Visit IamJustSeen.com. Anything and everything that is me, you can find at IamJustSeen.com. So take a quick peek into my world to see why being just seen is nothing less but always more. Because you never really know what you need until you see it, and you will never see it unless you visit IamJustSeen.com. All right. Welcome back. Ow. Man, I promise you, it feels good to actually be recording a podcast again. Like, I don't think y'all understand. Like, I have so much shit in my head that has to come out that just been downloaded. Like, it's like, all right, give this out. I'm like, I can't. It ain't time yet. But now it's time. So it's like, I got season 12 and beyond is about to be phenomenal. We have a lot of content, got a lot of information that we're going to get out. But That's not what we're here for right now. We're here to talk about the misery. Um, misery, misery is external unhappiness, right? We know that shit, right? But miserable people never appear miserable. Like it's a paradox and shit because we be like, yeah, misery loves company, and we quote the cliches and shit. And we say misery loves company, but have you ever really seen a miserable person? Mm-mm. Like you don't know a person's miserable until they get comfortable with you. So it's like in between that time, like that person never stops being miserable. But how did they get into your space to be miserable? Like you feel me? Over the last 8 9 years since like 2015 16, right? I ain't gonna hold you. I started my healing journey, my true healing journey, my spiritual practices and all of that shit in 2014 after my grandmother was killed. Like it ultimately led me to giving up religion, led me leaving med school, all of these things because I had to realize that I had become something that wasn't me. You feel me? Into where we are now, the entrepreneur, the podcaster, the author, and all of that. That's who I've always been. You feel what I'm saying? But I've never truly tapped into my full self because I had miserable people around me. I didn't realize that I had miserable people around me in my intimate space. And this is no shot towards my friends, to my close friends. I'm talking about the people that have gained access to me over the years. They don't necessarily have to be friends. They don't, the people, I'm gonna say it like this. A lot of the motherfuckers that wasted my time, a lot of motherfuckers that took me off course, that distracted me and shit like that, they were miserable people. And I didn't realize they were miserable people because I'm allowing them into my space to siphon off my joy. Again, I don't even know that it's like what the situation is like I'm looking at it from this perspective as, you know what? Why are you here? And then the lines can get blurred because if low key you're dealing with misery too, then you have to eat that too. And this is what I'm talking about with the healing aspect of it because I was a miserable person until I started healing and got back into the things that I wanted to do. A lot of us, when we put down our dreams, when we put down our joys, when we put down the things that give us euphoria, that uh, make us who we are, our truer self, creativeness, our creativity, our artistic expressions. When we start putting those down, we get miserable. We get miserable as fuck. And when you can't pick that up, you attach to somebody who can, or you attach to somebody who does. You feel what I'm saying? I'm seeing this because it's like a lot of my distractions over like hey bro, look, I would have been done with all of this entrepreneur shit like 5 years ago. I ain't even gonna hold you. I probably would have had everything built like it was supposed to be like 5 years ago, but I got distracted. I didn't realize how distracted I had become. I didn't realize what was distracting me. You feel what I'm saying? I never understood what was happening, but I was distracted. And I was being distracted by low key miserable people. I used to think it was like, yo, this person's on the rebound, this person, this, that, and the third. And I would always look at, now I'm talking about women specifically, but when I would look at women who would come into my space and it's like, yo, you got a man, like you're just coming fresh off of a relationship, but you healed, you telling me you good. That's bullshit. I ain't trying to hear that shit. But I started to learn what it was. When really like, those women were miserable as fuck. Some of them I crossed the line with, not on no sex shit, but try to talk to them and see all this other shit because I was still young. Mind you, I'm talking about a journey that occurred between now and when I was 25, 26 years old. But from 25 to 28, maybe 29 ish, it's like I was dealing with a lot of miserable women who enjoyed the fact that I'm me. You know what I'm saying? Like the whole just scene establishment of what that era was. Like that's an era of life that I've now put to rest. And I'm glad I did. That's why it's like how the universe works out. You know what I'm saying? The page got shut down, all of this shit. That's why it's now becoming seen the light. Because I seen the light. You feel me? I legit seen the light about a lot of shit, and it's now elevating me to this next phase of life that I need to be in now. You feel me? But I'm digressing. So I'm considering just like when people come into my space, it's like misery never looks miserable. But you can hear misery. Like you be thinking motherfuckers ain't miserable because they can still laugh and they can still joke but it's like most miserable people are easily triggered. I was triggered. I was triggered. I ain't gotta walk on eggshells for your goofy ass, bro. If you triggered the fuck, it's low key because you're miserable. Misery is something that a lot of people don't really address because we think misery is you look like a Scrooge and your face is scrunched up. No, it's a lot of happy, miserable motherfuckers, yo. I ain't gonna say happy because they're miserable. It's a lot of happily expressing miserable motherfuckers, bro. When I say shit's crazy, bro. Because it's like these miserable individuals are like, they come into your space and it's all, I'm good. Everything is, I don't want you to see my negative. I don't want you to see my negative side. I want you to see that I'm always upbeat. I can keep up with you and your resilience and your happiness. No, they can't. No, they can't. And you gotta find and you'll interact with people who are miserable as fuck. They smile a lot and they are very performative, but on the inside they fucked up. And you don't realize they fucked up till you hear the stories of the people around them. Everybody's wronging them. Everybody's like they can't have good friendships. You might be their only real friend and blah 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 and all of this shit. You're the one who listens to them and all of this shit. And you start to realize that they don't like you. They like that you like them. Or you realize that they don't love you. They love that you love them. And again, it's not on me on no I'm hurt, I'm bitter or no shit like that. I'm just reflective. Like, cause these women are no longer in my space, and I didn't really have a deep connection to them. But it's as I started to develop and started to look at it, it's like you low key lived through me. Again, I was able to see this through the Drake and Kendrick Lamar beef. Like for real, like this shit really, it really, yeah, that shit was hilarious. But I ain't gonna get to. I'm gonna have an episode on what that was. You know, going deeper into that shit because that's some shit from So For Real 1, 2, and 3. The whole beef, even down to the lawsuits, all of that shit. Because you feel me, they not like us. But what I've learned is that people live vicariously through people when they're miserable. You feel what I'm saying? And you don't know they're miserable until you can get close to them and see the misery up front. Because nobody shares their misery. They perform well to hide their misery, but the misery has to come out. And not only does it have to come out, it kind of does come out. And when it does come out, as they say, it rears its ugly motherfucking head. So I'm saying that because like the seed was planted for me to be able to see this with some of the women that I was dealing with over the years and shit, like trying to talk to and trying to like, because everybody was telling me, oh, you need a woman that you can build with. So you feel me? You have a story to tell. Everybody don't need that shit. Let me explain something. I'm gonna say this for my entrepreneurs, both men and women, and the technicolor of stuff in between. When you're building your entrepreneurship, you don't necessarily need somebody in your space to build with you. It sounds good. It sounds good. But if you do, you need to build with somebody who equally already wants to build, not just have somebody in a space while you're building, because that can take you off track. That can fuck you up. That can really put you in a space where you don't really want to be. And it can derail you and make shit take longer than it fucking has to. Because everybody's not in the same space. Some people are miserable and they're hiding it. And they attach to your freedom. They attach to your joy. They attach to your peace. Because you take them away from their misery. You're a distraction from their misery. So if you're a distraction from their misery by default, just off of dualities and shit, y'all know how we rock, they're going to be a distraction from your happiness. You feel what I'm saying? They're going to become a distraction from your happiness because you two are distracting each other. Your relationship is established off of distracting. You feel what I'm saying? I've experienced this for so many times that I didn't really realize what the fuck was happening because everybody was telling me if you building your entrepreneurship and then you ain't got a woman on us in the space or whatever the case may be, you start to feed into that bullshit because they're like, when you can actually deal with a woman and do this at the same time, it's like when you actually get it, now you know the value. No, that's not going to determine the value. I've learned that. This is my own personal perspective now. Build your shit first, alone. Because when you build your shit alone, now when you go out and you make the friends and you make the people that it's associated with what you built, not what you're building, you have a different perspective because things are going to change as you finish the building. You feel what I'm saying? You're a different person. Entrepreneur wise, you're literally a different person when you start, the phases in between, and when you actually complete what you said you was going to complete, because there's levels of growth. That miserable person that is attached into your life because you're doing those things, they stay the same the entire time. They stay the same the entire motherfucking time. And nobody wants to talk about that aspect of the shit. You feel what I'm saying? Nobody wants to actually go in depth and say, you know what? That's distracting. This is non-binary. However the fuck you want to look at the shit. There's women who have built shit and men just tagged along and shit and didn't really contribute. He was miserable too. I'm speaking it because I was able to observe it, excuse me, from the women that I was involving myself with. It's like, oh, I need a man who's going to heal me, who's going to make me feel safe and shit. There was never a difficulty or a problem for me to make a woman feel safe in my presence or make a woman feel better than whatever. But I realized that that's not what it was. It was me distracting them from their misery. I didn't know they were miserable because they come into space with so much confidence, but it's a false sense of confidence. It's a false sense of confidence. And you know it's a false sense of confidence when the insecurities kick in, when they realize, oh, you can have anybody you want. And I'm not tooting my horn on no I can have anybody I want type shit. But I'm speaking from the perspective of the jealousy that comes after misery. You feel what I'm saying? And I'm getting into these stories because it's like I had to review my past situations and like, what was my blockage? Every time I tried to involve myself with a woman and it's like, all right, let's see how this rock. You feel me? It was you see me. The conversation was always the fucking same. You see me. I'm like, you're not invisible, motherfucker. Like, you know what I'm saying? I was a joking shit. I say that, but I knew what they were meaning. I'm like, yo, you're not invisible. I can see you well. I see you well. But the issue is that your pain and your past and these things of your past won't allow you to show that for real. So this is one of the things that really started to get me because I'm like, you show me who you really are, but you don't show everybody else. Why? Why? And now that ties into the misery because the fact that you can't show yourself to anybody else, that's what makes you miserable. So now I got to take on everything that because of my freedom. Palakafe is some real shit. Peace, love, knowledge, and freedom is some real shit. I'm willing to be free in whatever I do because I can deal with the consequences of the shit. Most motherfuckers that are miserable want to be free, but they're scared to deal with the consequences, so they won't. And they hold on to that burden. They hold on to these things. You feel what I'm saying? And then they find a way to live vicariously through somebody. You feel what I'm saying? So I was saying, like, when I do my music, whenever I give my content, whenever it's like, there's a certain level of I hate to use this because it's now being overused and overplayed. There's a certain level of authenticity that I use. And it's not that it's not that I don't give a fuck. I give that much of a fuck about myself that I don't worry about how anybody else is going to perceive what I'm doing. Because it's not for everybody to perceive. It's for those who are able to align with my authenticity. You feel what I'm saying? People think because, oh, I use profanity, I use this, that, and the third. No, I cuss because I'm a cusser, bro. Like, I don't want you to, I don't like, I flow in the conversation. I'm going to use the words how I need to use the words. But now people are thinking, oh, I'm going to be my authentic, performative self. You feel me? Make it feel like this. Sometimes I can come off very compassionate. Sometimes I can come off very apathetic. I can come off in a multitude of ways, but that's authentic for the situation that I'm in. You feel what I'm saying? And that's what I've learned that a lot of people have been, tying to my authenticity. But there's a duality in that shit. There's the miserable motherfuckers and the motherfuckers who ain't miserable. A lot of y'all that have been rocking with me since day one, y'all are not the miserable motherfuckers I'm talking about. You feel me? Y'all are not the miserable motherfuckers. I watched y'all as y'all watched me. I watched y'all build and create new things. I watched y'all tap into your own creativity and move into your own spaces. But then I watched the other people constantly not change who they were. I watched the other people still remain the same because y'all have connected with me. They have attached to me. They have attached to me through my freedom. I like that you are comfortable enough, but it's like that freedom also scares them. Because it's like, at what point are you going to really see my misery and see me for who I am? I already see your fucking misery. I hear it when you talk your stories about everybody that won't let you be. I hear you when you say that you can't do this certain shit because of whatever the case may be. I hear when you doubt yourself. I hear when you are ashamed of yourself. I hear all of these things. And I'm able to hear them because I had to heal from those things before. You feel what I'm saying? When I talk about in Soulful 3, the tree of life and shit, that's not play. I really gone through the tree of life. So that's how I have a vision where I can see certain shit that other people can't see. And it's not that other people can't see it. I can see the perspective where other people only see perception. Miserable people only have perception. And it's the perception that is viewed through their misery. You can tell if a motherfucker is miserable, like a motherfucker, simply by communicating with them and saying that you want to achieve something. They always ask, why would you want to do that? Or do you think it's always some kind of cynicism that has to come with it? Misery is the precursor for cynicism. Motherfuckers just ain't cynical and doubting and self-deprecating off rip. It's because they're miserable. And if I can't have no fun, you shouldn't be able to have no fun. You feel me? It's like I was just making a post on Threads where I was saying, it was something along the lines of when people are if you are intimidated or you are afraid to let somebody exhibit their free will, that's because you seek control over them. But then that was my post, and then somebody commented and said, I'm gonna take it one step further and I'm gonna add on to that, because it's also when you don't want somebody to exhibit their free will, it's because they're able to do something that you can't do. Sometimes motherfuckers don't be jealous of you, they just be miserable. Well, I guess that the misery leads to jealousy, because jealousy is love and hate at the same time. I love what you do, but I hate that I can't do it. You feel me? That makes me miserable as fuck. Now, when I get into your space and I get into your light, I want that light, but I don't want you to shine your light on anybody else. I don't want you to provide your light to anybody else. I don't want you to get to a space where your light needs to be curated in such a way that only that anybody outside of me can benefit from it. Misery loves company because misery loves company because company provides misery the joy that misery can't produce itself. I've never met a miserable person who was actually tapping into their own creativity. And again, over the years, I started to learn this because there's people that would come into my space. I watched it split. I watched the duality happen right in front of me that I wasn't paying attention to. I had friends, I had people that would come into my space that, when I say friends, I'm not shitting on those people at this particular point in my life. I'm not. But I only view people as friends. Either you're a friend or you're not. And if you in my space, you're a friend. I see you as a friend. I treat you as my friend, regardless. But then people come into your space being friendly because of the misery that's tied to them. You feel what I'm saying? And they will exploit and try to expose certain shit. So when you try to give them advice, or when you try, I had a friend, still my homie. You feel me? We haven't talked in a long time. And I didn't realize when our conversation stopped. When our conversation stopped when I was no longer in the position that allowed her misery to thrive. You feel me? What I mean by that is when I was first starting entrepreneurship and I didn't have anything, we was cool. We was talking almost every day. Then as things started getting better and better and better, I remember I'll never forget the day she said it to me. She said, low key, she said, low key, I'm jealous of you because you're living the life that you want to live. I'm like, why would you be jealous of your friend? I said, you could live your life too. You're afraid to. Every time she comes to me, I need it. It's like one of those more money, more problems type things. She keeps getting raises and stuff at work, but it's like, how do you not move? She was like, I said, look, tap into something. Now, mind you, she's good with esoteric shit. She's good with a lot of shit, but she's scared. I'm like, look, if you don't start you a motherfucking YouTube channel and read some motherfucking cards, you feel me? What the fuck are you doing? There's a whole bag out there. I just don't. Another thing, she said, I just don't really want to do that because I don't think that's for me. You're miserable. That's all that is. And miserable, the byproduct of development of misery is never being able to live your life. Do what you want to do. You feel me? Everybody knows what they aren't, but not many people know what they are. And then the people that know what they are, misery comes because you know what you are and you won't be it. You feel me? I hear this shit all the time from religious people. They be like, a religious motherfucker tell you right now that that's not my ministry. They can spot a mile away something that's not their ministry, but they can't tell you what the fuck their ministry is. And there's a direct correlation. I know because I used to be heavily into the shit. Religious people are miserable as fuck. They rely on religion to create a fantasy reality that they're not miserable. You know the reason why the devil always busy in religious people's life? Because misery fuels that decision making that gives demonic shit into their life. This is what I be saying. The highest conceptualization of the mind, the highest conceptual of the mind is a deity. You feel what I'm saying? But it's rooted in our decision making skills. The aftermath and the shit that happens in our lives, the curses and blessings that we get, it's just our decision making skills. Miserable people don't make good decisions. And they don't make decisions with the shit that they're supposed to make decisions with. They make decisions according to what people around them are going to give them praise, give them approval, or give them some kind of joy they can siphon off of because they can't tap into it on their own. If you a miserable motherfucker and you listening, I'm not sorry what I'm talking about, but I'm just saying, take a look and reflect on the inside. Because I've been that motherfucker. I've been a miserable motherfucker. I became miserable when I gave up music. That's when I became miserable. I gave up music, bro. I stopped fucking with music heavy, because I couldn't do it the way I wanted to. And I realized that my misery was kicking in. I was being so miserable. Like when I hear people rap or I hear like a freestyle or I hear something like, and motherfuckers be like, yo, this shit was so fire. I'm like, that shit was trash. I became a hater. And it wasn't a hater in the sense that the shit was actually trash and I was speaking against it. I was speaking in the comparisons like, I can literally do better than that. I can do better than that. And a lot of people will say, when you're in that space, now this is where the misery comes in and it becomes cynical and all of that shit. But it has a positive, because it's like, yo, you really can do better. You can string words together and do things better. And it's like, but why aren't you? Here you are angry and you're upset and you're jealous at a motherfucker who's doing what you can do, but you're not doing it and they are. What does that really say about you? I'm miserable. Because here I am doing all this other bullshit that don't matter. I'm doing all this other shit that doesn't matter, that doesn't appease to me, because what happens is I'm now living a life that a miserable motherfucker failed at. I'm going to say that again. I'm now living a life that a miserable motherfucker failed at. There's so many of us who are living a life that somebody miserable failed at or couldn't do or never had the opportunity to do that they pushed us into. And now we miserable, but we're living somebody else's life. And we be thinking, the thing about miserable people is a lot of times, and this is why miserable people can become yes people, because miserable people will operate in a space where they'll constantly encourage you. They'll call it support. They'll reassure you that you can do whatever. They'll reassure you that you can do what they failed at, or you can do what they wouldn't do. The father who blew his knee out and now wants his son to play basketball, and his son don't want to play basketball, that father's miserable. Now, again, he could still go on and still be functioning and be smiling every fucking day, but he's miserable that he didn't get a chance to make it to the league or do it. Now he's going to push his son into doing that. His son don't even want to play ball. His son don't even like basketball. I was watching All-American, and one of the football players was having a panic attack because his sister kept pushing him to play. He said he didn't even like football. And Spencer peeped it. Spencer was like, they were out there chilling with him. So when'd you start hating football? He's like, I don't hate football. He said, yes, you do. Yes, you do. You don't even like football. Like, but my sister wanted me to. His sister kept pushing it. But then when he finally talked to his sister, she was like, I thought that's what you wanted to do. So since you wanted to do it, and that was the way out, I was pushing you to do it. Nah, some people don't even realize that you can like something for 5 fucking minutes and they'll try to make you live in that space for the whole life. And now you're miserable because now it's like, I don't want to let this person down. Because now through this person's misery and through my own misery, I'm now interacting with a person who's now pushing me, encouraging me, and giving me the approval and the praise of everything that I sought from them for doing what I'm miserable at. That's why midlife crises are what they are. That's why a lot of elder people, when they die, or when they're on the, like when all of their friends are dead and all of the people that pushed them and encouraged them to do certain shit that they failed at, that they regret. What's the number one regret of old people? I wish that I would have took chances and lived my own life. Life is gone. Life is gone. There's so many people say the youth is wasted on the young. It's not. It's wasted on the motherfucker that gotta make a miserable person happy. I'm gonna say that shit again. Misery is wasted on the motherfucker who has to make a miserable person happy. That's something you can't do because they're miserable for something that you have no control over. You know how many children are born to miserable parents? You know how many children are born because parents are miserable? You feel me? So many people say, and this is what gets me, is like people talk about their sacrifices. I sacrificed so much. I gave up so much. I this, that, and the third so motherfucking much. Why'd you give it up? Because the person that preceded you was miserable and said, I want you to do what I couldn't. You know how many, and it sucks because it's in our culture, but it's like now at this point it's in the DNA, but we didn't realize what was really happening. Now, I'm going to say this, never go to college without a plan, and don't leave college because you don't have one. Don't go to the sake of, like, I was the first black male to graduate from college in my family, in my immediate family bloodline, first siblings and shit like that. It's like, oh, I got something to carry on my shoulders. Y'all better stop doing that bullshit. Y'all better stop doing that bullshit. Because when life don't work out for you, while you're doing what somebody else encouraged you to do because they couldn't, nobody wants to deal with that part. You feel me? When I graduated from college with a degree in forensic biology, I couldn't find a job. You feel what I'm saying? Now, the very miserable motherfuckers that encouraged me to go because they couldn't go or they didn't go, they have fucked up their life to where, especially the men, the bloodline of the men in my family, because most of them sold drugs, most of them got charges and shit like that, and most of them couldn't go to college. So for them, it's like, yo, go to college, man. You need to do this because that and third. Like, nigga, you didn't go. You can't give me no advice and no experience on what's next after this. So many motherfuckers thought that just going to college will secure so much shit. It's not until you actually go through the shit that you're like, oh, nah, this ain't what it was. It didn't work exactly how you said it was going to work. And so much so, a lot of people kept encouraging and pushing a whole generation of people that the market became saturated. And now I got to compete for some shit. Now, I'm the best fucking competitor. This shit is about to get crazy. Now I'm the best fucking competitor, and they're not going to go with me because they got to pay me for the shit. You feel me? And now let's fast forward. I graduated in 2008. No, 2012. Right? It's 2025 now. So I graduated 13 years ago. 13 years. 13 years. AI has now replaced a high percentage of jobs. A lot of niggas that got degrees are replaced with AI, and there's still motherfuckers going to college right now. I'm not saying don't go. I'm saying go with a specific plan that you know is going to work, not just because I went with a plan. I specifically went for forensic biology because I was going to do forensic pathology, but life played out the way that it played out. I stopped wanting to associate with death. That's the only reason why I wanted to go to college and shit. I was like, all right, I want to figure out how people die so I can reverse it and I can help them live. So I would want to look at diseases. I figured that shit out with plants. I studied people who actually did it with plants, and I was like, oh, I don't need a degree for this shit. Oh, I just really need to understand nature. I just need to go into my own, and I did that. You feel me? Which ultimately led to Hitting It Raw, the ebook, and the Hitting It Raw course and things like that and shit like that. Like, to teach the information. Motherfuckers really can't get that shit. It's like, I still needed you to live. I needed you to do this because you need to live vicariously. I need to live vicariously through you. By me being proud of you, I can become proud of myself finally. It's like, what? You're going to get hella disappointed because now when I actually do things that are worth what I wanted to do, it becomes problematic. And like I said, I'm starting to see the rift now. Now that I've actually completed like a lot of the now that I completed a lot of the entrepreneurship shit, which is the purpose of this episode, I'm seeing how miserable a lot of people around me were. And I was wondering like why can't what is it that y'all cuz you're doing you. You're not doing what we told you to do. You're doing you. And we didn't tell you to do that. And because we didn't tell you to do that, we can't live through you. When you're doing what we couldn't do or what we tell you to do or what we guide you into, then we can, have some say in that shit. You feel me? I love her to life. I never take this away from her, but my mama said something profound when I actually walked away from school. She said, I'll support you as long as you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. I'm going to show you how this ties into this episode too. And I was like, okay. So then once I quote unquote stopped doing what I was supposed to be doing because I left school, and I was like, oh, that wasn't it. You was going to support me as long as I was doing what you needed me to do. To make you look good, to make it seem like you were, okay, I got you. And this is something that ties in because now from the religious perspective, one of the number one verses is train a child up in the way they should go. Niggas didn't even interpret that verse right. There's so many misinterpreted verses, but when it comes to our children, this is one of the ones that's misinterpreted the most. Train a child up in the way that they should go. Train a child up in the way they should go. Not in the way you wanted them to go, the way that you couldn't go, the way that you didn't go. Train them up in the way they should go. Because now we have to look at it like this. I be getting into it with family all the time about religious shit and shit because they be like, oh, you're not getting into heaven. No black person, and I don't mean this in a disrespectful way, I just got to keep it a buck. Not many black people are going to get into heaven, especially the elders. Because if you tried to take your child away, if your goal was to tell your child to go to school, get a good education, to go work for somebody, and not encourage them and not train them up in the way that they should be going, you have now taken them off the path that the Creator put them on. The Creator didn't put them on your path. The Creator used you as the vessel to guide them into their path, not to make them walk yours. Now, this cycle of misery, it repeats. It repeats on and on and on and on and on and on and on. So much so that we have an innate feeling of debt that we have to buy our parents a house. Or we have to take care of our parents. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with taking care of your parents or anything like that, but it's like our goal is to make sure we can do something do the thing for our parents that our parents are supposed to do for us. That's crazy. Do you see how we hustle backwards? They like black people have no wealth and all of this shit like this because we hustling backwards. We don't do anything for the future generations that have to come in. We do shit for the past generation that couldn't do. That's hustling backwards, and we wonder why the misery keeps kicking in so heavily. The misery is going to stay there. It's going to continually to kick in heavily. It's going to continue to come in and do what it's doing simply because of this reason right here. We're trying to do and make people proud. We're trying to make people proud of us who weren't even proud of themselves. We're trying to make miserable people proud of us because they've lived lives that they weren't supposed to be living. Shame and pride are motherfuckers. Most of the people grew up in a space of shame. Now, if you're ashamed of yourself and you have kids that you want to make proud of you, they'll never succeed at that shit, bro. They'll never succeed at that shit. And most motherfucking parents in this world are ashamed of their accomplishments because they were made to feel ashamed because they couldn't do what the previous generation did. Now, the previous generation will never tell them, I just wanted you to be happy. They'll tell them all late. I just wanted you to be happy at doing whatever you wanted to do. I just wanted you to be happy living your own life. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. You told me that all after the fact. Now I'm miserable because you was miserable. And now we talk about we wanting to break a cycle. The first cycle, the easiest cycle to break is train your child up in the way that they should go. Your child, they say all the time, parenting doesn't come with a manual. It does, my nigga. The child is the manual. And each child is a different appliance. It gives you a different manual. You're not going to operate the coffee maker the same way you're going to operate the dishwasher. You're not going to operate the dishwasher the same way you're going to operate a TV. You're not going to operate the TV the same way you operate the deep freezer. But each one of these motherfucking appliances come with its own manual. Are you going to read the manual? No, you're not. You know why? Because you don't think the manual needs to be read. Because you know better. You know best. You know out of misery what this free motherfucker, wow. You know you're viewing life and you know out of misery what this free, joyous being is now coming into the world with. That's why parents, a lot of them, they only like their kids for the first 2 years before they start talking. They want to kiss on them, hug on them. Everything is all about the kid and shit till the kid actually starts to exhibit their mind. That's when you're supposed to be guiding them in the way that they should go. But we guide them in the way that we couldn't go now. Back to the example that I was saying with, with men who blow their knee out and they want their kids to play sports. Because you fucked up at your athletic career. They're not athletic. They can't play sport. I'm going to make them play sports. I'm going to put you in football. I'm going to put you in basketball. Do what I couldn't do. The only thing that my child can do that I couldn't do is be themselves. That's it. And actually stepping into my space and actually walking into it, I realized that that's one of the biggest things that was hindering me from going to this next level. I know that my success going forward is going to make every miserable person who tried to live through me, is going to turn that into envy. The precursor to misery, the precursor to envy is misery. We be wondering like, motherfuckers get jealous. They were miserable first. They were miserable first, but you were still in close proximity to them. They could touch you. You had not shown, and you had not shown them yet that they can do it too. It's one thing, like, I'm watching people, like, people love rags to riches stories until the nigga beside you is going from rags to riches in your face. Then it's like, oh, that's delusion. You crazy. You this, that, and the third. Only difference between delusion and genius is success. That's it. It's identifiable success. A motherfucker who's like, for example, I had somebody talking to me about I was like, yo, I'm telling you, I'm gonna go. Nigga, you ain't gonna get that far. I'm telling you, I'm gonna go as far as I wanna go. But I'm saying what I'm about to do and what I'm about to put into this world from this point forward is gonna take me to a whole nother level. Motherfuckers like, nah, bro, I don't see it. But yet they'll tell me about the rags to riches story of Tyler Perry. You know why it's easy to tell a story about Tyler Perry coming from nothing and then building something and then not being able to support the motherfucker that you're watching go from nothing and become something is because of proximity. That's it. It's because of proximity. My misery is close to yours. My misery isn't close to him. My misery isn't close to the Tyler Perrys. My misery isn't close to the 50 Cents. My misery isn't close to the Masterpiece. It's not close to the people that are doing what my proximity is doing. So I don't have to get up and say, you know what, I can do this too. You have to realize that you can do it too. And you start to realize, damn, this motherfucker is making no excuses. So what is it that I'm doing? Making excuses, but you're making excuses because you're miserable. All you keep hearing is get into the markets, but do you trade or do you invest? Should you do stocks, Forex, crypto, or NFTs? My personal answer is not a single one if you don't know how to read a chart. Without knowing how to read a chart, you end up giving all your money to those who do. Do you know what a candle is? Do you know the pocket of activity? Do you know the difference between market direction and market control? If you answer no at least once, you might want to learn how to read a chart first. Learning how to read a chart will let you know if you should trade or invest and if you should do stocks, Forex, crypto, and or NFTs. It will also let you know if this is even for you or not. So visit IamJustSeen.com to learn how to read charts with my Mastering the Market course, ebooks, and webinars today. The world is changing. The question is, will you adapt with it? Because what people don't understand is that there has to be a level of joy inside of you in order to keep going and push something like this. I'm not just speaking for myself. I'm speaking for any person that has reached that successful level and they started off, they was at it for so long and then it just, boom, they just kept pushing. There has to be a level of joy that makes you not quit. Misery won't give you that. Because misery still needs that support. Misery still needs those accolades. Misery still needs that love from somebody to encourage you to keep going. Misery needs that shit. But when you have that joy, it's like, ain't nothing stopping me. I'm going to get this done. But again, when you had that miserable person in your space, it eventually starts to go into envy and jealousy because when they see you doing it, they have to withdraw. Oh, now you acting funny, or now you just stand there. Oh, no, 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 no. I'm not allowing you to siphon off my joy no more. I'm showing you that and motherfuckers be thinking you acting funny, or I'm not acting. I've literally changed. I'm not the same motherfucker your miserable ass was cool with. And it's not to be disrespectful. You just never stop being miserable. Your misery is not my fault. Your misery is not my fault. I may contribute to your misery as I go off and move the way that I'm moving, but your misery is not my fault. Now I'm watching people who are looking at, certain things that I do and certain things that I move. Like I'm not, like I said, I'm now going into a space where I had to learn how to be prepared for this shit. And I wasn't prepared for this next level just yet because I'm like, there's something missing. There's a key missing that I don't have. At first I thought it was, okay, maybe I got it. At first I thought it was business wise. Now it's mentality. I realize now that it's like, I had to understand and be able to observe when a miserable person is in my space. Because I can't allow miserable people in my space because the more misery they eventually become jealous. Jealousy is what will take you down when a miserable person is in your space first. Misery is not, and misery loves company. You feel me? And misery doesn't always look miserable, bro. There's a lot of miserable motherfuckers in your space right now. And this is not to, throw shots at your circle or no shit like that. Or even throw shots at you. But there's a lot of misery in your space that you don't even know is miserable. You feel me? You'll know it's misery. You'll know it's misery by the cynicism. You'll know it's misery by the cynicism. And the inability to detach from you. You feel me? Some motherfuckers only want to be supportive to the concept, to the context that I know that I'll still be able to be attached with you. Some motherfuckers can't go. You can't bring a miserable motherfucker when you live in a joyous life. You can't. Watch the demise and the downfall. So this is why y'all hear me say poverty is painful. Poverty has nothing but miserable people in it. I did a dramatic pause for that because I need people to understand that. Poverty-stricken people are miserable. Poverty-stricken people are miserable. It's the haves and the have-nots. It's that reality that has been created, and it's created for a reason. When you're miserable, you won't create. You'll duplicate. You'll replicate. You'll never do anything creative. You'll never be able to tap into your true self and never figure out things on your own or figure out the necessary things. So like I said, in my process, creating everything that I created, I had to look at the business side too. How do you keep this moving? Like, how do you monetize off this shit? How do you do this shit? Now, you have those people. Now, again, misery is a motherfucker. Poverty is a root of misery. They go hand in hand. You ever seen motherfuckers who say, yo, all your gifts ain't got to be monetized. You ain't got it. Don't let social media get, those are miserable people who can't monetize off their gifts. Yeah, I said that shit. Squabble up. Squabble up. I'm mad I ain't get to talk about the Kendrick shit in the moment when it was happening, but damn it, it is what it is. But squabble up. Most motherfuckers that are angry or they try to project that you shouldn't be trying to know. It's like, I don't want to admit that I'm unable to do what I'm watching you do. If I had the opportunity to do it, I wouldn't be saying that you don't need to be doing this. Oh no, I'm well aware of this shit. Because you can't in one breath say, this, and I love to talk to the religious people about this shit because now they try to tell me one thing and they get mad when I be quoting the scriptures and shit. They be like, but you don't believe in that shit. But you do. And if you do, that means you have to listen to what it tells you. So you can in one breath try to convince me that I would be greedy or I'm doing something wrong for wanting wealth and wanting to build wealth off my gifts and then quote the very verse that says, your gift will make room for you and open doors for you. What doors you think you going to open? To more poverty? Fuck no. I didn't know. I don't do this shit to stay there. What kind of shit is that? No, I do this shit so you can compensate me. And now I'm at a point where it's like I just want my time. And the more that I'm able to do this, the more it's like I respect my time. I'm like, yo, you got to give me my shit, bro. Now, in order to take my time, you have to pay me for it. So now back, like I said, cycling back to, social media. I had just seen a post on Threads. A person was like, don't let social media start gassing you to make you think you have to monetize it. Why don't you? Why don't you? Some of your gifts are just meant to be. No, they're not. No, they're not. I don't know who told you that shit. That's a poverty mentality. That's a misery mentality. That is the mindset of misery. We always talk about a lack mentality, but we don't want to associate lack with misery. You show me a motherfucker who wants abundance, but they're still miserable and they wonder why they can't grow. You know why? Let's look at etymology. I'm back, baby. Misery, miser, miser. That root, misery and miser. Miser is a stingy person. Misery, miserly, and miser. Those are all from the same root. A miser is a stingy motherfucker, a person who does not, who has a lack mentality. A miser is a person who is very quote unquote frugal, but they don't give or they don't do anything in abundance. That's a miser. Miserly, to be a miser is one step away from being misery. Is from one step away from being miserable. The two go hand in hand. Show me a motherfucking hoarder. Show me a motherfucking person who achieves and they obtain a lot. They're going to be a very miserable person. They're going to be a miserly person. They'll never have abundance because they're not willing to give and grow above and beyond. You feel me? They're going to do just enough to look like they doing something and not actually be doing shit. I don't give a fuck what nobody say. When motherfuckers say shit like, no, you don't have to get paid for it. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Nigga, time is money. The fuck? Time is money. And money is an energy that constantly flows. If you're not getting money off the energy that you putting out, time is money and energy. I'm gonna do a quick mathematics joint for you. Time is money, and money is an energy that flows. Time is money, money is an energy that flows. So that means time is also an energy that flows. And if I want my time to flow, I need to have money. And if I want my money to flow, I need to have time. But I'm going to tell you that you don't need to get money off of everything that you're giving time. Huh? See, the social media shit is keeping motherfuckers in poverty too, because the spiritual people that are now coming in, they're not spiritually abundant. They preach the shit, be abundant. Nah, there's levels and shit that you got to get to. A lot of spiritual motherfuckers that came into the space that ain't woke now, that ain't, they were miserable people. They came into spirituality for a quick fix. Or if I go to Yemaya, or if I go to the African spirituality, it's going to bless me the way the religion didn't bless. No. Your blessings are results of your decisions. Your curses are results of your decisions. If you are a miserable motherfucker, chances are you making detrimental decisions for your life to compound on the misery. It ain't no mystery. Spirituality don't teach you how to behave well so you can receive a reward. No. Spirituality really takes it to the next level. It says you get what you put out. You get out what you get. Like that's what it is. It's all about the balance that you create versus detriment versus benefit. A lot of motherfuckers are putting detrimental shit out and wonder why they're not getting anything abundantly. Abundance needs benefit. Abundance needs to be beneficial. Lack is detrimental. That's why you don't have, or that's why you do. But the root of it all comes from misery. Again, misery doesn't always look miserable. It just doesn't always look miserable. But we act like it is. We act like, oh, this person's miserable because we like I said, we're looking for a Scrooge when we see a miserable person. We're looking for a Scrooge when we see a miserable person. No, me pre-healing, I was miserable as fuck. I still had my degree. I still smiled. I still encouraged people. I still wanted to be the best version of myself. I still wanted to give people hope and all of that shit. I was miserable as fuck because I wasn't doing what the fuck I was supposed to be doing with my life. I wasn't doing what brought me peace to my life. I wasn't doing what creatively made me have joy in this world. And I was destroying it instead. You feel what I'm saying? Y'all can tell from the podcast, bro, like I'm a speaker. I'm supposed to be delivering messages orally. I like to call myself a prophetic griot. I'm not going to call myself a prophet because I don't want to give myself that definitive name. I am a prophetic griot. Now, if you understand African culture, if you understand our background, if you understand what it is in our people, griots are the storytellers, the historians and the storytellers of the people. You feel me? They don't have to write anything down. They can tell all of the history, all of the sciences, and they can teach everything through oral story. This is where our rappers come in. This is where our poets come in. This is all like, I am that. I'm cut from a griot cloth. I didn't know I was a griot until I started doing the research and studying the shit. Here I am trying to be a fucking doctor. Ain't nothing wrong with being a doctor, but then I got into the shit and seen it was some bullshit and it ain't gonna do nothing but fuck my people up. I can't be a part of that, but as a griot, I could tell y'all the story. I could tell it in such a way that you not, hey, you feel me? But this is what I was supposed to be the whole time. The whole motherfucking time. And then you find people that want to attach to that shit and not take it serious. Case in point, my sister can sing her ass off. Me and my sister are both musically inclined. I come from a musically inclined bloodline. You feel me? But me and my sister, we used to make music and she used to always play it. And she used to get mad when I got upset. Like, yo, take this shit serious. Sing this shit the right way. Do this like she used to get, I want like, I turn and shit. I won't punch my sister in the head and no shit like that. But it'd be like, we be working on a song and she just be playing with her brother. But then you go take another nigga's song seriously. Like that shit used to piss me off. I ain't even gonna hold you. That shit used to piss me off because she knew, and this is when it really got me. She put into perspective, and she's really one of the reasons why things are moving the way they're moving for me now, because she was like, I knew he won't gonna go nowhere. But you can go far. And if I'm attached to that shit, I didn't have to move it the way you move. And I'm not doing it. Well, nigga, why was you playing with me? Because you're my brother. I just wanted to work with my brother. Like, that's really what I wanted to do. But you do this. And if you go farther and shit, and I'm not going farther. I'm not trying to go farther. I just want to have fun with my little brother. That's it. Oh, okay. Okay. I know not to put you on another track. You feel what I'm saying? Or not even attempt to even give you a hook or no shit like that. Because she was like, but when you do this, she said she told me, the moment you really get back into your music, everything that you built right now, it's going to take off. She said, that's right there is what's holding you back from that next level. And she said, the reason why it's holding you back from that next level, because you don't want to leave us behind. I'm like, nigga, you don't know me. She's like, nah, it is what it is. She said, this has always been you. She said, I've been listening to you rap and make music since you were 17 years old. She said, you've been doing it longer than that. But by the time I heard you, you were so good already that it was like, but then she said, once I seen it, I realized that this is how you gonna do it. She was like, did you intentionally do this? Like step back and like really start making the music and shit for this reason? I was like, yeah, now that I can put my music with my brands and all of that other shit and I can continue to, every time, like I said, anytime I get on social media and I make a post, I have to get paid for this shit now. So I put all my music with my individual posts. Even if I'm not, and I'm still going to promote my brands. I'm still going to do all of this stuff because all of this shit has to live. And as I build my catalog and I make more music and put like that, all it's doing is being added into the next thing. And you're now getting a bigger cycle that just keeps running because I've learned that the world and the universe moves in cyclic motion. If you're not continually moving in a cyclic motion and building and growing and spiraling in a way, things ain't really going to go the right way they needed to go. But at the same time, if you catering to miserable motherfuckers who want to do what you do but are scared to do what you do, or even be in the space of you, not even do what you do, but being able to tap into the energy that you're able to tap in. If you always going to be trying to please those motherfuckers, you'll never realize that you'll never get far. Pleasing a miserable motherfucker. Think about this. We become people pleasers and we don't ever become people pleasers to miserable motherfuckers. These motherfuckers attached to us and they hype us up. Like, look at, I knew I was going to come to this. Look at Drake, right? Drake's fans are Drake is a miserable person. I'm not trying to, be on no shit to keep the beef going because I don't give a fuck about the shit. Drake is a miserable person who won't absolve the misery. But he's a miserable person who's living a dream. Actor who raps and does all of this shit. But his fans are his yes people. They're not telling him, bro, you got your ass whooped last summer. You lost this shit. But his circle is so busy telling him, nah, you didn't lose. It was the bots. It was the company. It's this, like, his misery is so potent and so that he has now created a lot of people to follow his misery and live through him because they're miserable too. So now they're defending this nigga's misery. Not even realizing that they're defending this misery. And it's like, that's how you get yes people in your circle. Miserable people who don't want to tell you no. Because they're able to live off you. They're able to feed off you vicariously. You know how many times I heard, yo, Drake, my mans and shit. He don't even know you, bro. I can't let you say that about Drake, cause that's my mans and shit. That ain't your mans and shit, nigga. He don't know you, bruh. He got beat the fuck up this summer. And he started the fucking fight. You feel me? It was what it was. You feel me? He got washed. And that's it. But he has a lot of yes people in his circle. Because those very people are miserable people that are living through him. And they're attached to that shit. When you have people that ain't miserable, that are comfortable in their own skin, that like they can support you and do what they need to, they can do what's supposed to be done. They're not going to tell you yes all the time. They're not going to tell you no all the time. They're going to actually be in a space where your growth is not threatening to them. Growth is threatening to miserable people. Because in order to be where I'm supposed to be, like it's like I remember when I first went plant-based, I didn't realize like when I first went plant-based, there's a lot of shit that I changed. A lot of people wanted to do and they started seeing me do it and it's like, wow, you didn't like when I wrote my first book and I published it. I want to publish my book too. Do it. When you a miserable motherfucker and you tell another motherfucker who really ain't got shit, who hasn't really accomplished shit that you want to do something, and they tell you, do it, you can brush it off and say, it's not as easy, it's easier said than done, it's this, that, and the third. These are motherfuckers that was in my space prior. Nothing that you tell me can stick. Everything that you tell me is a reason why you won't do something is just an excuse to me. That's how I see it. I've had people tell me, I want to write a book. Okay, do it. It's not that it is that easy. I've done it 4 times. Well, everybody ain't you. Well, yeah, you ain't got to be. But if you want to write a book, you're going to have to do what I did. That's the thing. Your misery won't allow you to do what I did because you can no longer be miserable. Miserable motherfuckers a lot of times are victims. They play the victim role. They victimize themselves. The world doesn't like me. The world doesn't do this. I don't give a fuck about the world. I wanted to write 4 books. I wrote 4 books. I really wanted to write more. But then as I started to get this defeated mentality over time because I was like, I'm around motherfuckers that's like, I stopped growing. I ain't gonna hold you. I was around short motherfuckers for so long that I no longer needed to grow. The miserable motherfuckers like, yo, you don't need to keep doing this. You need to keep it. But I had one homie. This my homie, bro. I really like her. She my homie. She was like, when you write your next book, I said, I ain't writing no more books, bro. You okay? You say that. But I said, and I didn't realize why I stopped. I only stopped writing books and I only stopped because I had already achieved so much and I was constantly around miserable motherfuckers, bro. Every time I share, because for me, at this stage in my life, it's no longer talking. If I say I'm going to do it, motherfuckers know it's going to get done. It's not even I was dealing with a woman. And when we first started talking, I ain't had shit, but So Frail 1 done. I ain't had nothing but So Frail 1 done. She was like, yeah, men, all y'all do is talk, and I need to see action. I need to see this, that, and the third, because she wanted me to stop what I was doing to come cater. A miserable motherfucker. She was miserable as fuck. I ain't even gonna hold you. She was miserable as fuck because she wanted something that only I was giving her that she was supposed to be getting from her support system, from the people in her space and her circle. And they didn't do nothing but tear her motherfucking ass down. I gave her hope that you can do more. Like everybody would tell her, like, when you was dealing with him, it took off quickly. Like, your life started to change. You started to glow. You started to feel better. And then motherfucker stopped fucking with me. She turned gray. Like the fuck started looking dim and shit. My light is bright, and I'm gonna let that motherfucker shine, baby. I'm telling you, I'm gonna let that motherfucker shine. But as time went on, we rekindled or whatever, and we met years later, and she's like, yo, you really did. You said, I told you I was gonna do this shit. Like, I'm not a person, because in me doing it, I wasn't coming from misery where I was trying to do it to get approval. To say, hey, I want you to no, I gotta do this because this is in my head and it gotta get done. And if I don't do it, it's never gonna leave my head. And it's gonna drive me crazy the longer I wait to get this shit done. So I'm gonna get it done. And then now when you tell me, hey, you can't tell me that you wanna do anything that I've already done, because I'm gonna encourage you to do it. And when you fucking with somebody who has never done that shit, it fucks with you because you be like, I can always brush it off as I ain't seen nobody do it. Now it comes to that next part of the resilience and the wherewithal and the prowess to actually be able to do it. When I first started my podcast, everybody was like, a lot of people were saying, oh, I want to do a podcast too. Do it. Do it. They started it, do a couple episodes and shit, and it's like, I just don't feel it anymore because you never wanted to do it. You wanted the reception that you see me getting. You want to write books because of the reception that you see me getting from motherfuckers. But you don't know why I'm getting this reception. I'm getting this reception because this is what the fuck I'm supposed to be doing. I'll always succeed when I do me. You're going to fail when you do me. Do you? Don't do me and call it doing you. Because you're going to fail. You're going to fail. Because only I can do me how I do me. You feel me? I've had so many people saying, yo, I want you to help me write the So Frail version for the woman's version. No, nigga, you just write it. Just don't use the So Frail title. You can use whatever the fuck you want to do. Just do it. But now I'm going to need help. No, I'm not doing it. If I'm doing it, your name doesn't go on it because that means all the information is mine. Because if you can't write the book now, then if you're not going to be able to write the book until I step into the space, that ain't your book. It's mine. But I respect it enough to say I'm not writing a book about women, bro. I'm not writing a book for women. I'm not catering to women. I have to write a book about men because I'm a man. You feel me? I had to write 3 of them bitches. And as I, when people would hear my shit or they would it's like, oh, you mad that you didn't think of the shit. That's a miserable expression too. It ain't always got to be, seem aggressive and overly over the top when a motherfucker say, why didn't I think of that? Because low key, are they asking, why did you think of that? Or how did you think of that? Or how were you able to think about it and I wasn't? Shots. Everybody, shots. But nah, it's real shit. Misery would do that to you. Misery would do that to you. It'll have you trying to do something or undermining another motherfucker without even knowing that that's what you're doing. And I think niggas know that they doing it, but we don't perceive it as what it is. You feel me? Because you feel, nigga, you ain't got no reason to be miserable. They have every reason to be miserable. Why wouldn't they? And again, this comes from me actually sitting and observing some of the people in my space that were miserable as fuck. And it's like, bruh, you doing this shit. And it's like, I kept diluting myself and saying, I'm not going to do more. I'm not going to do. But this was one of the reasons why, low key, I'm going to tell this story because I had mentioned this earlier. I mean, in the podcast, I was like, yo, I think I'm going to stop at season 12. Y'all remember me saying that shit. I'm going to stop at season 12. You know why I had that conversation? Because I was talking with somebody and they was like, you already got too many episodes. Let people catch up. You already got enough episodes. People don't need any more from you. Nigga, you don't get it. This is what I want to do. And I started to internalize that and I started to feed into that shit. And I was like, well, maybe, you know what? Maybe I don't need it. Because at some point, when you reach a certain level within yourself, and it's like nothing or nobody around you has ever gone to that level, it's at the top. But at the same time, when you know mm, if you've climbed a mountain, you don't even have to climb the whole mountain. If a motherfucker that wouldn't leave the ground is commenting about how you only a quarter way up the mountain, and that's you don't need to climb any higher, you're nowhere near your peak. Why would you stop? You feel me? The space that you reach might be their peak, and now they're telling you, oh, you're already at the peak. Do you really need to keep going? Yeah. 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 In this world, in this diluted world of everybody doing this, I need to keep going. Not to like, I'm always going to have a space in this podcast world. You see what I'm saying? But then as I started to internalize that shit, I didn't realize what it was. I was internalizing someone else's misery. And the more I got to where I started thinking, yo, the podcast gonna be done, man, this gonna be the end of it. I ain't gonna have nothing else to do, bro. I'm this, that, and the third. I stopped focusing on it. But then I became miserable. When you start listening to miserable motherfuckers, you become miserable because you stop doing the thing that brings you joy. You stop doing the things that bring you joy. When I stopped with music, everybody's like, yo, you're going to have to get serious. And I remember when I did my album, everybody's like, yo, it's time to get serious. You graduated, this, that, and the third. Like, I've always been serious. Did you not hear my music? I've let a few people over the years hear my music, hear my album, and it was like, bro, I now want to hear what you deleted. Because I let them know, yeah, I deleted my music, all my music in 2016. My old music, it's gone. I don't have anything. All the beats that I made, everything. It was like, I would love to hear what you did then. It was like, that's 2012, like when that album came out or when I did it or whatever, and it's like that still lives on. It's on my SoundCloud. But I'm like, yeah, everybody was saying like, but I didn't realize that people were saying you can't keep living your dream. You can't keep living what's in your head. You can't keep living out loud. You can't keep doing that because it makes us realize that we not doing it. Nigga, that ain't my fault. Nigga, that ain't my fault. I got people right now who, you know, they got diagnosis from a doctor or whatever the case may be. I got the whole answer to help solve their problem. But pride won't let them ask me. They like, yo, I'm going to go buy this book. I'm going to go this book and this book. I'm like, yo, you got a whole plug sitting right in front of you. But pride won't let you because I tried to put you on game a long time ago. Your misery for my own success won't allow you because now it's like, I can't value or respect your success until I can brag about it. You don't need to brag about my success. You need to worry about bragging about your own shit. That's what the fuck you need to worry about doing. You don't need to worry about living through me because now it's like, now we're in a split duality, right? Especially with my family because they cannot fathom how I don't fuck with the religion. I don't acknowledge or I don't believe in their deity, but I'm thriving and they're not. I've had a conversation with somebody who's like, literally, they said they don't understand how I don't get sick. I was like, why would you want me to get sick? No, it's not that I will want you to get sick. I'm just saying, like, every season, every year, when the seasons get stronger, like, everybody gets sick but you. What you think I'm supposed to get sick? Because in your mind, if I'm not, how are you getting sick? How are you going through the shit that you're going through? And you are following to the T everything they told you to follow. And I'm not? How is it like, now it's like, well, when the shoe dropped, blah, 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 blah. It's like, how are you still doing that? How? You're not supposed to be able to do that because you're not behaving. Because I'm being, motherfucker. I'm being exactly what I was supposed to be here for. Only a miserable motherfucker's gonna hate that. So yeah, you can project all you want to, put whatever buffer you want to in front of it, but you don't see anything happening the wrong way. You feel what I'm saying? Like I said, when my peoples will call me the devil worshiper, but I'll be the first one they call when the doctors can't figure nothing out. I'm at the point now, it's like I'm not even petty with the shit. I'm really just absolved and I'm done because I understand what the misery is. I'm like, yo, you gotta ask your doctor. Why would you do? Why would you? Because you gotta ask your doctor. I've been giving y'all game for 8 years. 8. I put my books out. I gave like at this point, it's dead horses and water for me. All of my shit is out here. All of my shit has been out here. So I just like I left it for y'all. I don't want to be stuck with y'all no more. And again, this ain't just family. This is everybody who still has that mentality of being miserable because they're not able to live their life. And now they see the chances that I've taken. They seen the risk that I'm willing to go through. And it's like, damn, that's too much proximity. I'm literally doing the exact same thing of the people that they idolize, the people that they support the most. But you can't give me that same incident. Now, but I see it from the other perspective. Because there's people that listen to my podcast, that buy my books and everything, that support me better than they support their own closest people. And I'm not saying those people are miserable, but I'm saying it's in the context of misery. It's like, I don't know if you got to show me that you're going to do it. My introduction to y'all was me doing it. So it's different. But the people know you as they knew you from that miserable space. If y'all sharing the same misery, like people be thinking shit is trauma bond. It ain't trauma bond. Y'all niggas sharing in the same fucking misery, bro. And that's what's fucking you up. You bask in the same fucking misery as another motherfucker. But you don't know that that's what it is that's happening. You feel me? So I had to learn how to step back and look at it from the miserable perspective. Because now it's like, after a while, you just link up with other miserable motherfuckers. And you click up and you be thinking all of y'all good because y'all can still party and have fun and y'all can distract yourselves the same way. I don't try to distract myself. I don't want myself to be distracted from nothing. I just want to get the shit done. You feel me? And have fun doing it. Like the way my new page is now going, it's like I was always trying to figure out like what's the best way to do this. And I didn't realize what I was doing is what's the best way to do this so I can cater to the miserable motherfuckers so they don't block me. So they don't report me. Because shadow ban is a motherfucker. Like I was shadow banned for 3 years on my older page before it got shut down. But what can I do to make sure? And I said, fuck them people, bro. Fuck them miserable motherfuckers, yo. Keep doing what you doing, bro. Keep doing what you're doing. Like I used to get mad at like, you know what I'm saying, the trolls will come in and say, I don't give a fuck about a troll. Bitch, you miserable. I'm about to make that a post. Like, I don't give a fuck about a troll. Bitch, you're miserable. Like you feel me? That's my comeback for a lot of shit now. Like I don't like when you want to argue, when you want to come at me sideways, when you say, bitch, you're miserable. What the fuck? Like, why would I stoop to you? You're miserable. I'm not. Why would I come to your level? Why would I entertain that? You're miserable as fuck. You feel me? It goes back into how a lot of this shit that we see on social media is a lot of miserable motherfuckers speaking from a different perspective. Some of your top following people, some of your top influencers are miserable as fuck. And they get off promoting misery. And motherfuckers that flock to them the most are miserable too. And vicariously living, because they recognize the misery, they're vicariously living through the miserable motherfucker who actually gets attention. Like these whole episodes of black men versus black women, is that no, it's miserable niggas, bro. Y'all are miserable. I don't give a fuck about you. I don't give a fuck about your miserable ass opinion. I can spot misery now. For one, I used to be a miserable motherfucker, but then I understand what misery does. You feel me? Niggas really be fucking miserable. Go read some of the comments and the captions and shit. Motherfuckers really be miserable and don't know what to say. Like when trolls come out, it's like, my thing is, I don't give a fuck no more. You're miserable. I had a troll comment on one of my posts and was like, he said, and I knew what he said. He said, He said, motherfucker, he said, quit bitching and get some money. Get your money up or some shit. I said, oh, I got my money up. I said, you should click the link in my bio to see why my money is up. I said, it might help you. He said, I'm cool, bro. I bet you are cool. I bet you are cool. Because now you look stupid. Miserable ass nigga. You a man. A miserable ass nigga. Don't quote me on that shit and be like, oh, men are miserable ass niggas. No, that's not what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. He's a motherfuckers be miserable ass niggas, bro. Like, for real. Or you a mab. You feel me? I ain't gonna say what that is because, you know, I love women. I still love my women. But, you know what I'm saying? He's just a miserable ass motherfucker. A mamf. He's a miserable ass motherfucker. Shut up, you mamf. But not in all seriousness, though. In all seriousness, I want to stay the course. But in all seriousness, though, like, when we looking at it from that perspective, right? That's something that I had to come to terms with. Half of the advice you get, a high percentage, if the advice doesn't tell you what needs to be done, then half the advice, 90% of the advice that you get off motherfuckers, I ain't even gonna say half, a high percentage of the advice that you get from motherfuckers is coming from a miserable motherfucker. Take a step, like, if you made it this far into this episode, then you got time, you got notions to look back and look at motherfuckers and realize that was a miserable ass motherfucker too. Motherfucker were miserable as fuck. And you don't realize they miserable as fuck until, you know what I'm saying, you find out. Let's say you take their advice and now you miserable. They be like, you didn't have to listen to me. You listen to a miserable ass motherfucker, bruh. A mamf. Mamf. Oh, shit. You listen to a whole miserable ass motherfucker, bruh. And now this miserable ass motherfucker has really got in your head. You feel me? And again, a lot of miserable motherfuckers, they very supportive. They very happy when they're around a motherfucker who's living a life that they ain't living. And some people will repeat, they be thinking, why can't I get it right? Why do the people in my circle do? Because you around miserable motherfuckers, because you a miserable motherfucker too. You low-key a miserable motherfucker too. Birds of a feather flock together. Birds of a feather flock together, misery loves company. So, if your birds is miserable, nigga, there's some kind of misery within you. And we all have a little bit of misery and resentment within us that hides deep within us because of the things that we know we're not doing with our lives. We know it. A lot of us don't want to take the chance to not be miserable anymore. Because misery is also safety. Misery is comfortable as fuck. Yeah, there's levels to the shit. It's a little bit of chaos with the shit, but misery is comfortable as fuck. I ain't never met a miserable motherfucker who wasn't comfortable. Comfort ain't always good. Just like misery doesn't always look miserable. It just don't. You feel me? But this goes into my my point of, I kind of got off, but this goes into my point when I was saying about like how my new page is being developed now. Like before, it's like I was so worried about, I had become miserable because of all of the shadow bans and shit. You feel me? In regards to this, I was like, yo, I don't want to say, fuck them people, bro. Fuck them people. So now I simultaneously say fuck them people while acknowledging, okay, y'all know y'all niggas do this shit, but I'm gonna show you that ain't about. So that's why every video now that I do is just me dancing. I don't know how it worked out, but like every song I pick, I be on beat. I dance to one fucking song in all of those videos. But you know, as I do the videos, that's what I'm gonna do. That's my thing. Cause it's like, since you wouldn't let me, y'all didn't want me to talk. Y'all wanted me to be, and this is spiteful shit can come up. This is me being spiteful. I can admit that, but it comes from the level of misery. Because if you've been a people pleaser, I've been giving y'all this content, making sure I don't give a fuck about what content y'all want, bro. And that was one of the defining things that actually happened to me, because it's like when you become an entrepreneur, they make you feel like, oh, you got to change now to accommodate the business. Fuck that, and fuck them. You feel me? I started having to watch the way that I was saying certain shit because of the way that I was moving and shit to avoid cancel culture and all of the shit. Fuck that and fuck them. A lot of this shit was miserable motherfuckers mad that I can say what the fuck I want. And I was willing to stand on what the fuck I want. So you think you gonna cancel a motherfucker because you miserable and your feelings hurt because they said what the fuck they want. You didn't have to listen to what the fuck they said, but you did because you're miserable. You're miserable. So now you go, a lot of miserable motherfuckers go and gravitate to where they can maintain their misery and promote being a victim. I don't give a fuck about none of your victim mentality. I don't give a fuck about none of the bullshit that you got going on. I don't give a fuck about that shit no more. I catered into that. Oh, you got an audience now. You got to make sure. I don't give a fuck about that shit no more, bro. I had to reach a point where I stopped giving a fuck about that. You post too much. You just stand the third. You just stand the third. This is what the fuck I want to do. And I had to sit back and was like, why the fuck am I worried about what these, because it's like, well, these are motherfuckers that's going to buy. I said, bro, there's billions of people in the world. And you worried about 5 or 600 miserable motherfuckers telling you that they not going. You heard about 5 or 600 miserable motherfuckers telling you what they not gonna do because they miserable. And you're not supposed to be making them more miserable. You gotta go solve that shit on the inside, bro. This ain't about self. Like, you're miserable for your own reasons. And now it turns into envy and jealousy because it's like, how can you do what you want to do? I used to hear dudes say this shit to me too. They're like, yo, if I would have said what you said, then the motherfucking women would have been dragging me. They don't drag me, bro. They don't. And if they did, I wouldn't give a fuck. I talk shit to everybody. Everybody. And I think what it comes down to also, and this is not, hope this doesn't come off arrogant. I could fight. You feel me? I can fight. And not only that, I used to talk shit in the real world. I still talk shit in the real world. The shit that I say online, I'll say to your face. I'll say to you, and I'll be ready to fight because I grew up like that. A lot of motherfuckers ain't built like that. That's why it's like you get extra tough on the internet. I'm tough. I'm tough offline too. In fact, it might be a little worse offline because no, it's worse online, and it's only worse online because I know I can't touch you. I know I can't physically touch you, so I'm gonna make sure that whatever I say is gonna bust your ass because I can't bust your ass in real life. You dig what I'm saying? I won't be able to bust your ass in real life, but if I take it there, I can really take it there. You feel what I'm saying? But a lot of motherfuckers they miserable, bro. Sis, all y'all, you gon' like, after this episode, you probably gonna scroll your social media and just look at some of the shit that motherfuckers be saying. Like, I'm not, like, nobody can poke at my misery. This is one of the reasons why people are like, yo, why you go back and forth? I find joy in that shit. Motherfuckers be like, I'm blocking that. I ain't blocking shit. I'm a go in on your ass. I find joy in the shit. I find joy in the shit. I find joy in knowing that I don't have the misery you have. And I can sarcastically come at you any way that I want to come at you. People be like, nah, I'm not going to block you because you're not triggering me because I'm not miserable. You're not triggering me. You said some shit that, hey, it might be good. You feel me? But then when you start coming off me crazy, like, nigga, we got a problem. We got a problem. And I'm going to make sure the problem gets solved. I'm not miserable. I trigger people. I trigger people. I do. But when I trigger you, it's because you got a trigger. I don't know you niggas. I don't know you motherfuckers, yo. I don't. So if you're allowing me to trigger you and I don't know you, that's not on me. If my post, if whatever the fuck that I said in the thread or whatever the case may be, if I said that shit and it pissed you off, I triggered you and I don't know you, you don't know where I got this thought from. I could have been meditating. I could have been looking at a fucking bottle of dishwashing liquid and saw the word dawn or some shit, and then it just triggered me. The dawn of the day made me do some shit, and now you're triggered. I don't fucking know you. I didn't intentionally say the shit to you. I don't know you. So how you let me trigger you if you're not miserable? Why are you that sensitive? You feel what I'm saying? But again, because I'm not miserable and I know that you are. When you come to my shit, at that point, it now becomes, I'm going to fuck with you purposely because I know you're miserable now. I'm going to beat your ass too. Beat your ass and hide the Bible if God watch it. I promise you, yo, I should have, man, if I would have been recording a podcast at this time, bro, like I would have used so many of his quotables, but that's really what it is. That's really what it is. I'm not a miserable person, but I understood that a lot of my hindrance came because I had surrounded myself with miserable people. And it's not in the sense that they're bad people or no shit like that. I don't want you to come off like that. Nah, they have their own levels of misery that they're dealing with because of whatever it is. And sometimes I've learned that all of my life. People that were attached to me were miserable, but it's like I gave them hope. I gave them hope that you don't have to be miserable. You can literally live your life if you want to live it. You can do whatever it is that you want to do. I'm proof that you can actually do but you got to deal with the consequences. You got to deal with the consequences. That's what a lot of people don't want to deal with because the consequences often make them more miserable. Because some people have already defeated themselves with the victim mentality. Oh, I'm going to fail. Nothing works out for me. You're right. You're absolutely right. You've already programmed your mind that nothing works out for you, so nothing will work out for you. Nigga, I don't believe that. I don't go into any situation that it's not going to work out for me. And if it don't work out, I got to figure out how to make it work. It's like, damn, I fucked up with that. Okay, well, try again. Thank you. Come again. That's how I look at this shit, bro. Because I'm not miserable. I didn't realize that until just recently, bro. I'm like, yo, like when I say recently, I mean like the start of this podcast was really how this shit came about. Because the last couple of days, I'm like, yo, I want to get back into all of my shit again. But it's like I don't want to show off because I don't want it to seem like. But it's like, nigga, they miserable. That ain't got shit to do with you. You feel me? I stopped wanting to put my music on everything because I was like, all right, if I put it just on the reels, it's cool. But, you know, I don't want to put it on everything because then it's like, oh, he doing music. It's like this. No, nigga, put that shit on everything. Everything. There's people who rap that, you know what I'm saying? I remember from my old page, it's like I remember one of my travelers was asking me, they was like, yo, what can't you do? I said, that's crazy because I don't know yet. Because anything that I want to do, I'm going to do. That's it. I don't know what the fuck y'all like. People be thinking that, you know, I seen this post and this shit was very powerful. Shorty said, people be thinking that there's chosen people. No, there's not chosen people. There's people who have accepted the call of the divine. That's it. You be thinking, oh, I'm chosen. I'm special. No, nigga. No, ain't none of us special. Because in the world of actual spirituality, in the world of the divine and all of that shit, like in the universe, like everything is nothing and nothing is everything. This is what the binary code has always been, zeros and ones. Everything and nothing, nothing and everything. That's it. The zero is nothingness. The one is everything. Everything falls in between. The numbers fall in between that. This is why you go from 0 to 9 and you get to 10 and you start back over at 1. It breaks down numerologically because everything is what's in between those two things, right? So when you look at the divine, it's like everybody think they're chosen. No, you're not chosen. Nobody's chosen. You just decide to say, hey, I'm going to accept what I'm supposed to be doing within this world. It looks as if you're chosen for one specific thing because everybody's unique. You feel me? This is why you can have successful rappers that can't rap, nigga. That ain't they fucking calling. That ain't what the fuck they chose to do. They can't fucking rap. You know how many motherfuckers can't rap? Like really rap? Because I look at rap for real because I'm a griot. Like, you feel me? I'm a storyteller with my shit. Like, I like bars. I like punchlines. I like going in. I diluted myself and I no longer wanted to push my pen as far because I'm that raw. Because it's like, yo, what do you do when you're the best? And I get it. A lot of people say there's people who I don't give a fuck about those people. They're not better than me. Every motherfucker, and this is what the whole battle with Kendrick Lamar was about. Everybody with a pen knows you're not better than me. You have to show me that you're better than me. I don't give a fuck how raw you can, when we go head to head, are you better than me? You feel what I'm saying? But you have so many motherfuckers, and this is one of the things that Drake, this is what the problem was with Drake. He's like, I don't want to go head to head. Because I know I'm not better than any of these niggas, bro. I have ghostwriters. I know I'm not better than them. I don't have a pen. Like, I don't. But you feel what I'm saying? It's let's not put the competition into the shit because that's the only way you're gonna get better with the competition. When I know, oh, this motherfucker sharp, bro. This motherfucker go in. Like that's one of the things that made my pen not because I was better than what I was hearing. I was so much better than what I was hearing. And I didn't even have to try to be better than what I was hearing. But now I want to try again. And it's like it got to a point where it's like that misery crept in on that regard and why I gave up music because it's like I'm not inspired. And I didn't realize it wasn't that I was inspired, I was just miserable. Because I wasn't able to do it the way that I want to do it because now it's like, oh, people ain't gonna get it. After this Kendrick Lamar shit, I'm like, yo, y'all niggas really listen to bars. Y'all really break shit down. What? I thought y'all stopped doing that. That's the only reason why I gave up. That's the only reason why I put my pen down and I only kept the music to myself because I'm like now I want to. I want to. I'm getting back into that shit because now it's like I knew that I was falling on miserable ears. Once I started getting like when I realized that people stopped fucking with me on that type time, but they were just lurking and watching and shit, it became, damn, my misery makes me intimidated by you. I don't know why you got to be intimidated. You should be inspired. If you're not miserable, you're going to be inspired. And if you're inspired, you're going to do something with it. But again, you can't be me if you're going to do that shit. And that's where the misery comes in. I'm going to try to replicate what you replicate, and I'm going to fail and compound on the misery because I'm trying to do you instead of doing me. No, you can't do Scene. You can't do what Scene is doing. You can't. You just can't. You feel me? You just can't. I've watched how so many of these motherfuckers that was on the podcast that a lot of motherfuckers started off with my whole flow on the podcast space. You don't see them niggas no more because they couldn't keep up because they were doing me. Oh, I want to talk about what he talking about. You can't. You got to know what I know. You got to know what I know. And if you don't know what I know, then you're not going to be able to talk about what I'm talking about because you don't understand what I understand. So you can't deliver it how I deliver the shit. You can't break it down the way I breaks it down. But if you don't register that, it's misery that a lot of people are filtering their lens through as they see you. You'll never you'll never understand why you feel like you're being hated on. You're not being hated on. You're being observed by a miserable motherfucker. You don't want you want to get into a space where it's like I want to be, I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be somebody that people don't, fuck them. Fuck them. The reason why people aren't going to always agree with what you because it's like you trigger something in them. And you can only trigger something in miserable motherfuckers. Like, remember when we were kids, bro? Nobody really had haters when we was kids. Everybody, you notice, like, we could all be friends when we was kids because we all knew our unique selves until we started to click up and find certain things that made us feel a certain way. That absolved our miseries and shit like that. That's when things started changing. But before we were miserable, before we started getting shut down, before we heard, I can't, you can't, or no, or you don't do this, you can't do this, and all of this shit, you started losing your abilities because you don't know the difference between permission and ability. A miserable motherfucker is telling you that you don't have permission to do something that you think is your ability. You feel me? So eventually what you do, you stop doing the shit. Now you become miserable. They train us to be miserable as kids because everything else starts to compound off that shit. You don't have no joy. That means you're going to walk into trauma easily. Your mind is already corrupted and already set in motion to be miserable, bro. Sis, all y'all. What does that mean? What does that do to you? It makes you a fucking hater. And when you get older and you see a motherfucker actually exhibiting their life and living their life as they supposed to and walking and shit, you're not going to like it. But then when you actually see a motherfucker that you can fuck with, that you like, yo, this motherfucker give me hope. Like, they gonna call you a dick rider. Get off his dick. Like the whole Kendrick and Drake thing. I have never seen the word glazing used so motherfucking much. Niggas ain't dick riding on these motherfuckers, bro. It's like this is how they feel. But in order for people that are miserable, because they favorite got beat the fuck up, oh, y'all just glazers. Y'all glazers. Y'all dick riding. No, nigga, no. Nobody's dick riding. This is what the fuck really happened. Y'all are the ones that are in delusion to this shit. Because you try to live through a motherfucker. And when his loss is your loss now. You feel me? His L is your L, and you want to take that shit because now you're miserable. Now your misery got to spill out on social media because your favorite got beat the fuck up. What? But it's deeper than that because motherfuckers come to social media miserable. Social media is their way of escaping the misery. I'm happy. I feel good. I look good. I'm this. No, you're not. You're miserable and you fucked up. Which makes it hard for the actual motherfuckers that ain't miserable to come to social media because I can't connect to you through misery. The motherfuckers that ain't got a miserable bone in their body, that ain't miserable, they can't connect to you through that. When I was doing my petty shit, when I was doing like those are moments when I was miserable at times. But I learned how to channel that misery so it didn't appear to be misery. You feel me? I would always do some kind of profound caption that actually gave me another perspective because I was actively healing the shit. Then it got to a point where it was no longer miserable. It was just, all right, bet we're going to transmute this shit and we're going to do it the right way. And now I know I don't need to be miserable because I'm not. I'm living, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm walking in my joy. And I've learned that people be wanting to think that they're walking in their purpose. You can't walk through your purpose if you're miserable. Because miserable and purpose don't go together. When you really walk into your purpose, you have a level of joy that you can't even explain because and joy doesn't always look like peaches and roses and shit like that. But joy is something that puts you through and it sustains you on a whole different level. Misery makes you the victim. And I've learned that a lot of people have come into because it's like I show them that misery can be transmuted into something positive. This is why I'm so open with the podcast. This is why I can say whatever the fuck I want to say. This is why I do say what the fuck I want to say. And this is why the way this page is now starting to develop, especially after this episode, I'm going to say what the fuck I want to say. Because you know why, nigga? I'm not fucking miserable. And I don't give a fuck about you miserable motherfuckers no more. And don't forget to check out Palacafe Clothing, formerly Just Scenes merch. Get all of your intricate designs crafted specifically for the melanated being to develop a positive imagery within self and to have a little bit of fun in the process. From the peace, love, knowledge, and freedom to the dead horses and water designs, all of the styles are crafted for the imagery to make you feel as you're supposed to feel. Because as I always say, the best way to fit in is to stand out. And what better way to stand out than with your exclusive styles from Palacafe Clothing. All right. Welcome back to season 12. I'm going to go ahead and end it there, but welcome back to season 12, bro. Sis. All y'all. Hey, I don't know if y'all can hear, but I'm different. Like, that epiphany really hit. Like, me being in Georgia was really, it was really a time. Because I got a chance to experience two sets of friends. Friends that aren't miserable and friends that are. And I seen the misery in them. And I seen some of the ways that they was moving. It was like, oh, nah, this is why you like this, because y'all are all miserable. And y'all do miserable shit. And I'm becoming more miserable as I fuck with y'all. And I'm not a miserable motherfucker. But it's like, as I started to change and as I started to come to this epiphany and shit, I just started to look at life and realize that's been my number one thing holding back. Not wanting miserable motherfuckers to be uncomfortable. And I think it's because I always knew deep down inside that they were miserable motherfuckers and I just didn't want to outshine them. A lot of us are in that space. We be thinking we're dimming our light. No, we just don't want to make miserable motherfuckers uncomfortable. We just don't know that there's misery that we actually dealing with. You smell me? We don't quite know that it's misery that we're facing, that we're trying not. We be thinking we got to walk on it. No, we just don't want a miserable motherfucker to feel miserable. And a lot of us have been like this since we was kids. I never forget when I stopped giving a fuck about misery. I was 15 or 16 years old. And I was like, nigga, I'm better than y'all. Not in the sense of, and this was solely towards music, but like, we used to rap. When we used to rap, it used to be like, we get on a mic and we start rapping. And I would kill him. Just kill him. Like, when I say kill him, I mean kill him. Like, it's not a... It wasn't even close who's the best on the verse. Like, nigga, it was me. The fuck? It was me. Like, I will body these niggas, bro. Like, but I realized that I didn't give a fuck. I didn't give a fuck about your misery or if you weren't good enough. I felt like when you stepped into this space, nigga, you supposed to be the best. You feel me? Supposed to be the best. I remember when I was me and one of my we became cool, but we was dissing each other. He started the beef. He started the beef, bro. And this was really just hip hop beef for real. This is the shit that they thought was, but it could have went otherwhere. It could have went elsewhere because we was both from real areas and we fucked with real people and like it could have went there because I got disrespectful. I got disrespectful as fuck. But he did a song where he was like in the song he said he run in there. That was the name of our high school or the initials of our high school. I said, bitch, no, you don't. I'm the best out here. Then I was like, nobody's heard me rap. As much as I kept quiet because I was like, I don't want people to feel like, I don't want people to give it up. I don't want people to realize that I'm so good at this shit that they don't need to be doing it anymore. This is going to come off like the arrogant version of me, but it's really not. I promise you. I promise you. And I know you may have heard some of my jam sessions now and think, you could have went harder. Yes, I very well could have. But those were still hard. Ain't that some shit? So in the joint, I was like, you know what? I got to drop now because I got to show people like he ain't the best in the high school. And so, you feel me? When I dropped my shit, it was like, bruh. Because I never forget the other nigga that, you know, I felt like this. When we in the high school, there was only me and one other nigga that can even, I felt like there was only one motherfucker who could actually fuck with me, and that's my homeboy KD. He go by Kid Def now. He battle rap. You probably seen him on YouTube him. Like you can, and if you find him, ask him about me. Ask him about me. Like ask him how my pen was. Like you feel me? So me and him, you know, we was like I felt like we was 1 and 2. I felt like he was the only nigga that could rap with me. Like so much so we was gonna do a mixtape. We got like he was the only nigga that could rap with me. I didn't give a fuck who was there in the high school, whatever the case may be. There was a lot of rappers, but I felt like KD was the only one who could rap with me. Feel me? And so when the beef was going and shit, dude was like, he tried to get him. He said, "I'm not fucking with Ray. I'm not doing it. Y'all go back and forth. Let y'all have that shit. I'm not doing it." And so I did him on some Kendrick Lamar shit. Like he dropped the diss and I dropped another one that day. It's called his pussy. He's like, yo, you the one he taking shots at and this, that, and the third. Yes, I'm taking shots at you, my nigga. Just you. I don't give a fuck about nobody else in your clique. But then when you do features and shit with your homeboys in your clique, now it starts to get problematic. And I gotta diss all y'all niggas, bro. And none of y'all niggas can fuck with me on the like none of y'all niggas can literally fuck with me. None of y'all. Like at all. But that was a time when I didn't give a fuck about people's misery. I'm going to show you that I'm better than you. You feel what I'm saying? I'm going to show you. And I realized that now that I'm older and mature, when I look back, I'm not showing you that I'm better than you. I did. But my impetus was, I'm free. I'm free to do what I want to do. And I'm comfortable dealing with the consequences of what comes with me doing what I want to do. If I body you on this motherfucker, it's because I bodied you on this motherfucker and that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to do. Even when I went to college, my girl at the time, her best friend went with a dude whose clique, they were rappers and shit. And so one day they was smoking and shit, and she was like, "Yeah, we were talking about you today." And I was like who? They was like, "Oh, nah, your name came up with we was talking about rapping." It was like we said, "Yeah, he could rap." And they asked, "Is he good?" And my homegirl and my girl at the time, her best friend was like, "Is he good?" Like I don't think none of y'all can play with him. Like that's how, and it didn't matter. Like it was high school, college, it didn't matter. Like everybody's like, "Yo, you can't bang with me, bro." I don't say that in a disrespectful way. I say that in a way that it's like, what I'm going to do when I'm unleashed in this motherfucker, I'm not gonna play with the shit. You either gonna have to rewrite your shit and come up with some more shit, or you just gonna be mad. You just gonna be mad. Cause I'm gonna make your gift look like it's not a gift. Tying it back into what I was saying about you chosen when you just accept the shit, bro. Practice makes perfect. When you decide that you want to do something, you want to be something, you just be it. That's how the divine works. You feel me? That's how the divine works. But miserable motherfuckers, they need permission. They need all kind of shit to say, I need somebody to tell me what I need to do. I don't need that shit. I don't need that shit. And now, like, especially after this episode, like my pen is about to be like on some other shit, bro. Like I don't have to, because I used to want to. Let me rap about this. Let me rap about this. I don't want to. I don't want to rap about killing anymore. I used to. I used to, but I got punchlines where I can motherfucking hit a nigga like with some. You feel me? I feel you. I got. I don't like using those bars anymore though. So now I challenge my pen on some other shit, but now niggas don't get it because they don't read enough. But that don't mean my shit ain't fire. But I've learned how to cultivate it in such a way that I could thread the shit in the right way. Like on my session, Heavy is the Head. What I say? I said 7 point. I said, so I attune to Mother Earth 7.83 with 7.62 to protect what is repeating me. I'll let you niggas know that it's a balance, bro. The frequency of the Earth is 7.83 hertz or kilohertz or some shit like that, but it's 7.83. 7.62 is AK-47 bullets. I'm just letting you know I'm balanced, nigga, but I'm balanced, nigga. You feel me? My pen has always been like that. But again, that was one side of me. In addition to everything else that I did, I was like, I don't want miserable motherfuckers around me. I don't want motherfuckers to feel miserable when they fucking with me. Feel me? But you have to learn to realize that their misery ain't you. That's what I'm slowly coming to terms with now. The more I post on social media, the more I like the excitement that people are getting now. Again, it's like, be free, be fun. And I realized that's what it was. People loved the fact that I did what the fuck I wanted to do. It wasn't always because I was petty or no shit like that. It was because it's like you were able to see your misery and not being able to be free was found in me being able to be free. And and now that it's back in that space where it's like, I don't give a fuck about you miserable motherfuckers no more, bro. You feel me? I'm not worried about my page getting shut down anymore because now things are different. Things are different. I just feel it, and now I know y'all can hear just in this episode. I'm not even the same person I was from seasons 11 before. I know you can hear it. I don't even smoke, bro. Let me not say it too prematurely, but I haven't smoked in a while. Like I'm different. And again, that was another thing that I did. Like when I started smoking, is because the person that I was involving myself with smoked. You feel me? And like I didn't like she was on some. Oh my gosh, I'm not perfect. And I'm gonna show you that I'm not perfect. I'm gonna smoke like with you, like you know what I'm saying, like because I don't have a problem with it. But then I got addicted to cigars, trying to quit smoking weed, and then now I couldn't stop smoking cigars, and now you feel me. But all of that was because it was like you're a miserable person and you do this shit to cope. And here I am doing the shit because you do the shit because I don't want you to feel. But then I realized I can't attribute or cater to no miserable motherfucker. I can't make a motherfucker. I can't make, and hear this well because you can't, and I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. You can't make a miserable motherfucker stop being miserable. They miserable. That's them. Nothing you can do can make them stop being miserable. Stop being miserable. Sorry. You feel me? You can try to dilute your words. You can try to say it, make it how it's supposed to be said. A lot of miserable motherfuckers need shit to be need it to be how it's said as opposed to what's said. Fuck that. You miserable, so what is said is what you don't listen to, but how it's said is how you need to understand it. Fuck you. You're crying ass. You're miserable. You're miserable. What the fuck you want me to do with that? You're fucking miserable. You feel what I'm saying? And now that I'm at a new space in my life where I no longer give a fuck about a person's misery anymore because I'm realizing I have no control over that. You were miserable before I even knew who you were. You're going to be miserable after we depart. If you don't grow, if you don't heal, if you don't do what you're supposed to do, that ain't got shit to do with me. You feel what I'm saying? That ain't got shit to do with me. That's why it's like I'm dealing with a lot of religious people who are telling me like, yo, after all of this time, all of these things that have happened in the world, you still, I'm not miserable. I didn't leave religion because I left it because I was understanding it, and now I understand how the world works better. I don't have to go back to that shit because I'm not miserable trying to find redemption on some shit. That misery that y'all keep complaining about, that those burdens that y'all keep saying have to be taken from you, that you have to be taken. Like, why do y'all leave it? Y'all put it on the altar and it don't go nowhere. Cause you miserable.
You miserable. And a lot of people that are stuck in solitude, I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna really wrap it up. A lot of people that are stuck in solitude and want to stay by themselves, they're not introverted. They're just not miserable people in a world around miserable people. And that's the commonality. That's the point. You be thinking you lonely. You be thinking you solid. You like your solitude and your peace. No, you're not miserable. You just didn't realize that you're not miserable, but you just didn't realize that everybody else around you is. You're not introverted. They're not extroverted. They're miserable motherfuckers putting on a performance, and you're a not miserable motherfucker who doesn't care about performing. You feel what I'm saying? Niggas love to, oh, I'm an introvert. I'm an introvert. No, you're not. You're not. You're not an introvert. You're just a person who's not miserable, and you constantly engage yourself. That's why people be like, yo, my social battery's dead. Because you're around miserable motherfuckers who are performing. You might be a miserable motherfucker who's performing. That's why your social battery is dead, because you're not healing the misery and removing yourself from people that contribute to the misery. Heal the misery and you don't be around miserable motherfuckers and your battery stay charged. The fuck? Coming from a motherfucker who doesn't get a dead battery. Cause I don't hang well and I don't hang long with miserable motherfuckers. But I had to learn this because as I was around miserable motherfuckers, I'm like, this shit crazy. I remember, this is really me wrapping it up. While I was in Georgia and shit, I had kicked it with two of my closest homies, Pat and Tank. Like, time stopped existing when we was linking. Because we're not miserable. Like, in some way, in some fashion, we live in our lives according to what we know our purpose is and what we supposed to be doing. You know what I'm saying? But then I was around motherfuckers who was like, yo, nigga, I've been with you for 30 minutes and you annoying the fuck out of me because this is a miserable motherfucker who is performing and they're trying to hide or mask or do something. They're performing. And their misery still has to show. Everything you do, you get the snide remarks, you get the subtle shots, you get the looks and shit like that. I didn't get that with Pat and Tink. I don't get that with Pat and Tink. Because we ain't miserable motherfuckers. You feel me? Respectfully. But the other motherfuckers who was miserable, it's like we cool and we kicking it and shit, but it's just always, what's next with your, like, oh, I'm just here. I'm just maintaining. Oh, Eeyore head ass is like, what the fuck? Get out of that shit, bro. Step into understanding that shit, yo. You're not introverted. You're not different. You're not set apart. You just a motherfucker who's not miserable and you're around motherfuckers who are always miserable. That's all social media show you. Social media just shows you. Social media amplifies it, and you don't know that it's a bunch of like y'all really be going back and forth and engaging with miserable motherfuckers. You make a post, and the motherfucker say, "That's not the story. That's not the life for everybody." All right, you miserable ass, get the fuck on. If it don't apply, let it fly. But miserable motherfuckers, it seems to always apply to, and they try to justify why it applies. The fuck? Cause you miserable, motherfucker. Mimph. Miserable ass motherfucker. But I'm gonna go ahead and end it there, yo. For real. Go kiss your babies. Make sure they eat their vegetables. And our kids, I'm gonna tell you like this: the seeds of misery are planted early when you don't live your life. Seeds of misery are planted when you don't live your life. And when your child is not able to live their life and go in the way that they should go, they're gonna become miserable. And they're gonna be rebellious. They're gonna quote unquote not listen. They're gonna do everything that you've been programmed to believe that makes a child disrespectful and rude. But that's not the case. The problem is they're being taken off of their own path by your misery. And it's embedding the misery within them to make them a motherfucker that's gonna be miserable and they're gonna repeat the cycle. Stop trying to live vicariously through our babies, bro. Stop implanting misery within our babies. And it's hard. It's hard as fuck because, like I said, an impetus for misery is poverty. A lot of us be thinking I'm not impoverished just because you can afford certain shit. Like, the system got you thinking that because you earn a good paycheck, I'm not going to get into that because that's a whole nother episode. We all in poverty, bro. If you ain't wealthy, you in poverty. I know. That's just, it's going to suck. It's going to suck to hear, but that's the reality. If you're not wealthy, you're in poverty. And if you're not investing to change, to offset the way inflation happens to you, you're going to stay in poverty. It's designed that way. So that way you can stay in misery. Because you're always worried about the money that you don't have and the money that you need, but you're not trying to do anything to make more money. But then you have to realize that in order to get the real money that you want, you have to use your gift. But now if you're going to be miserable and think, oh, I should not be able to be monetized for my gift, like, no, don't let that shit get to you. No, get money. The fuck? You better stop playing with that shit. Better stop playing with that shit. And stop processing and passing this on to our babies. We got to stop passing misery on to our babies because this is the world that we live in right now. Cancel culture, and the effects of the last 4 years of Democrats run is the effects of cancel culture and motherfucking miserable adults having miserable children who became adults. Niggas triggered by everything. Niggas is sensitive to everything. But then they want you to believe that they so, quote unquote, high and mighty. Because they're good at performing. Wait, mental health, because you're miserable, motherfucker. And that misery translates into depression. It translates into the anxieties. It translates to all these things because you're miserable to the core. Because you're not being who the fuck you want to be. Stop doing that to our babies. But for real, I'm going to go in there. Go kiss your babies. Make sure they eat their vegetables. And I'm going to see y'all all on the next one. Peace, love, knowledge, and freedom. I'm out.